Hey YouTube, this is Rescue Amusement Park Fan 62. Here's my overall thoughts on the 2023 Royal Rumble. Now, I just reviewed it, so go check that video out. No, but this is my overall thoughts on the show. First, start with the men's Rumble match to start the show. Now, the thing about this was typically in past years, the men's Rumble closes the show. So, I'm not entirely sure why they chose the men's Rumble first. Well, the men's Rumble was good, and Gunther had a heck of a performance. The, the main problem I have with it is there wasn't enough past superstars as well as the future, meaning NXT stars on the show. Um, there was no NXT stars in the men's Rumble at all. I'm surprised considering how many men's stars they have in NXT. So you have people like Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, Cameron Grimes, uh, Tony D'Angelo, and so many others. And it's it was this shocking because that's one of the big things people like about the Rumble is the fact that you have all these surprises. Um, and it's just one of those things where it where a lot of it was sort of predictable. So now the thing I did like about it was how they incorporated different storylines in the match. But overall, it was sort of lackluster because I am surprised, for example, with Gunther, how they did not have the other two people with him from Imperium in the match in some way. Um, Sort of like I'll get to with the women's. Um, and it's just I wish there was more star power in it. While it is better than last year's men's Rumble match, that's not saying much. Um, I did like how Sheamus and Drew McIntyre worked together on trying to eliminate people. Now, I will say this: the Logan Paul coming back really wasn't something I saw coming. But at the same time, I not many people like him. Um, so you have that. Next, you have the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match. Now, the match itself was fine. Um, you sort of knew Bray was going to win with it, and the problem is that I think they were more setting up toward the angle after the match than the match itself. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, after the match, Bray led LA Knight to like this little stage performance over to the side, where basically you looked up and you saw Uncle Howdy there, and he sort of did like a he did this like where he basically jumped over and landed almost on top of um and then there was a big pyro, and then you saw the life-size characters like you saw it when Bray came back um, uh, to WWE back in October, looking over. So I where they go with that, I'm not entirely sure. Next, you have the Raw Women's Championship match between Alexa Bliss and Bianca Belair. Like I said in the review video, they did not give this match a lot of time. The main problem I had with it is they basically made Alexa look weak versus Bianca. Alexa was able to get about two, maybe three defensive moves in, but the 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 part I did not like is how they built her up to be this threat to Bianca over the last couple of weeks, even before going into their first match a couple of weeks ago, just for her to lose like that. There was no like clawing at the eyes or any sort of stuff like that, or even some sort of spooky shenanigans by like maybe a ghost appearance of Uncle Howdy or some shenanigans like that. And then after the match, you had Uncle Howdy appear on the Tron or on the basically upper monitors and was like, "Are you all so powerful now?" So, where does this go with her? I am not entirely sure at this point. Um, unless they are setting something up for Elimination Chamber in Canada in about, I think it's like 3 weeks or something like that. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. Unless they're setting something up for that. Um, now we get to the Women's Royal Rumble match. Now, the thing about the Women's Rumble match was it was a lot better than the men's. The there were some surprises in the match, like Michelle McCool coming back, or Asuka Kana coming back. And then some of the NXT stars representing NXT, like Roxanne Perez, Zoe Stark, Indy Hartwell. Now, the thing I did not like was I wish they had more NXT stars in the mix. So you could have had like Toxic Attraction, and kind of have that storyline mix in with the Rumble. So you could have had like Toxic Attraction eliminate Roxanne Perez and that sort of stuff. Now, Indy Hartwell, the thing about her was it did not show anything, I don't think, about her with being with Dexter. So she didn't do any of those like things Dexter does or whatever. Um Now I did like the end sequence for it with Rhea, Liv Morgan, Asuka, Kana, and I forgot the fourth person. And how that went down. That was kind of neat. Now, congrats to Rhea for winning. But I wish they threw us a curveball. And so, like, for example, Liv Morgan won or something like that. And then after that, you had that concert from Hardy. I I don't think that was really necessary. I don't know if that was part of the reason why he chose to do the song for it. And then you got to the main event, which was Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns. Now, the match itself was fine, but here's the but. It was brutal. Now, the part that made a lot of people cringe, I feel like, was when Kevin Owens basically, or is when Roman Reigns hit the back of Kevin Owens' head against the ring steps twice. And you could even tell Sammy was like, what are you doing? Now, this match is going to be more known for the angle after the match. This was, I think it was Jey Uso. Maybe I'm wrong. Wanting to put that flower Hawaiian thing around Sammy. Well, Roman is like, hold on. So Sammy had to prove himself. Now, so Roman wanted Sammy to hit Kevin Owens with a chair when he was handcuffed to the post. And that was kind of a neat thing because you don't really see that much in wrestling in general. But it was kind of a neat thing to do because, it was just cool. Now, and then the Usos did like a super kick party on Kevin Owens. I think they did like a total of like 7 or 8 on him. So he was basically out cold. So as Roman was going to hit Kevin Owens with the chair, Sammy stepped in front and he's like, "You're better than this. Please don't do this." So he was trying to hand Sammy the chair for Sammy to hit Kevin. Well, so Sammy was holding the chair, but was hesitant to hit Kevin Owens. So, as Roman turned his back to do something, Sammy hit Roman in the back with the chair. And it was funny to see all of the faces when he did that. So then you heard, I think it was Jey, like yelling, "What are you doing?" and stuff like that. So a couple of minutes later, I think it was Jimmy walked off crying. So then you had Jey in there, uh, still acting, all tough and stuff. And it was a rather cool segment because it was something you honestly did not see coming. And I think it's WWE's way of trying to end it in such a cool way. Now, and then, so then you had Sokoa hit Sammy with the Samoan spike. And then Jimmy was beating the crap out of Sammy and then went over to Kevin. So then you saw Roman basically almost shredding that flower thing. That was a cool segment, I will say. Overall, with the whole show itself, besides that, the whole show was okay. I was hoping with it being under Triple H's control, it would have been a lot better. I understand it was his first Rumble, so he's trying to do what he can. Hopefully down the road it is a lot better. But the whole show itself was